Hey guys, welcome to Draw with Sandee at the Little Artistic Nook. Today we'll be drawing this cute little cheetah. So to start, we're going to draw in our cheetah's nose, and I'm going to make just a small little heart shape and have it angled just slightly towards that top left corner. Then bringing my pen just a little bit higher than the nose, I'm going to draw in a slightly curved line that curves away from the nose as I come towards it. So draw down and then sweep that line out, and you can start to round it around the outside of the nose and come all the way underneath and connect at the point of the heart. So we're creating here just the upper part of our cheetah's nose. Do the same thing on the other side in the opposite direction, starting to curve the line around the nose and then making it connect at the bottom. You can then go ahead and draw in the bottom lip by just connecting underneath with a little line. Now I'm just going to add some details here by just drawing a little loop at the top of each of these lines. When you look at them, it'll look like two little raindrops or teardrops kind of upside down. Next, we're going to draw in the cheetah's eyes, which are going to be oval shaped, and I'm going to draw them right in that little curved space here beside the nose. So leave a little bit of a space or a distance between the eye and that edge of the nose and draw in the oval. And then go ahead and draw in a little eyelid by tracing your pencil or pen over the top and just extending the line out. You can then go ahead and draw in a nice big curve at the top of the eye for her first highlight, and then a little heart underneath that for the second highlight. And then you can go ahead and just shade in around those two spaces. Then you can go ahead and come over to the other side of your cheetah's nose and do the same thing with the second eye, drawing out an oval. And then go ahead and trace over the top of the eye, extending out that little eyelid, this time towards the left. And then we'll draw in the highlight, starting with the big one at the top and the little heart underneath it. So depending on how thick your line is, your heart might not look like a heart at the end, but at least we get that extra little highlight. Next, we'll draw in the cheeks by just drawing a curve all the way underneath the eye that wraps from one side to the other. If your cheek comes to touch the outside edge of the nose, just break the cheek line so that it falls in behind. And then to make her or him a little bit cuter, we'll add in some little eyebrows just above the eyes. To map out the face, or the head, I'm going to first start by drawing a little point that is a good distance away from the top of the nose and a second one that's much closer to the bottom. Then go ahead and connect these two lines, keeping your line nice and curved as you come towards the outside edge of the eyes. And so I almost like to think of this as it's not really a perfect circle, maybe more of like a little dumpling shape. It's not exactly an oval. It'll be a little bit flatter along the bottom where we're coming underneath the nose and just a little bit rounded, almost pointy at the top and out towards the cheeks. To make our ears, I'm going to draw them so that they're just about over top of the eyebrows, starting with a little curve. This is my right ear curving towards the right corner, and then I'm going to bring it back down towards the head. So it's a triangle with a slightly softer, less pointy top. Then from the top of that ear, I'm going to draw a curve right beside it, coming back towards the center of the head. So it's on the top, we're creating the outside and the inside of the ear this way. Do the same thing on the other side, starting with your larger triangle that frames around the eyebrow, and then starting at the top, draw a small curve back to the head. Now we can begin to map out the body. So I'm going to place a little marker that's just about underneath that left cheek. This will be the back, and then another one that's a little bit underneath the right cheek. And these two lines are kind of angled away from each other. For the back, starting on that left marker, I'm going to bring my line down towards the bottom and begin to sweep it out so that it's about in line with the outside edge of my cheetah's head. Then curve it and bring it down towards the bottom of your page. Now I'm going to draw in his back leg. So to do that, I'm going to start by just coming inside of that bottom curve. So I'm now inside the body, and I'm going to draw out a U shape or a little J. So a little line that's coming up and then curving back around and down. To draw in the foot, I'm going to start a little bit closer to that back line. Sweep a curve underneath the leg, here, our J shape or big hook that we just drew. And then we'll close it off by drawing a horizontal line from the back all the way to the front of the foot and add in a little line for a toe. Before I draw in the front side of the body, I'm going to draw in the front leg here. So I'm just going to find my nose, and it's going to be about in line with the nose. Sweep a nice slightly curved line down so that it ends around the same spot as the bottom of your back foot. And then you can draw a second line that's just a little bit taller than this one, so a little bit higher up the body, coming down. And then we'll go ahead and we'll draw our front paw, just like we did the back paw, making a nice curve that hooks down to the bottom, and then closing it off with a horizontal line and adding a little toe line. Now we need to put our cheetah together. So I'm going to come back to that front marker underneath the right eye, and I'm going to curve a line towards that front paw. When I do this, I'm going to make my line a little bit jagged by just creating little points here and there, just to indicate a little bit of fur on the belly. You want this line to curve and touch that front paw's leg, and then we're going to connect all the way behind that leg to the back foot. And I'm going to add in his second front leg by just coming underneath the belly at some point, drawing a straight line down, and then creating that paw by drawing my nice curve and hooking it down to the bottom of the page. If there's room for a toe line, you can add one. We can now draw in the other side of his belly fur by just starting a little below the head, drawing in our jagged lines, and coming to meet somewhere along that front line of his front paw. To draw in his tail, which will be resting on the ground, I'm going to start by drawing a small sort of semicircle shape, and it's going to start about the same height as the top of the foot and curve up and end somewhere on that big hump on the back, right? This is his entire back leg, this largest curve in his back. Then, from the top of this semicircle you've just drawn, you're going to imagine that it's still going up, and you're going to bring the top of the tail out somewhere along the back of your cheetah's body. This time it's curving towards the top left corner, then round it at the top, and you're going to start to trace or mirror these curved lines as if you were just drawing a parallel line all the way back down towards the bottom of the foot and closing off the tail. And now it's time to add in all of our details. So to start, I'm going to come to the top of the head, and I'm going to draw in some stripes. So my stripes are usually just triangular, and I'm going to do 3 of them. The longest one coming down into the nose, and then 2 shorter ones on each side. And I'm going to add in some little spots, since our cheetah will most definitely have some spots throughout his body. You can draw in some little dots around the outside edges of the eyes. And I like to keep mine all different sizes. They're not even perfect circles. Some of them are a little bit longer, not quite ovals, maybe more like jelly beans. And then coming down into the cheetah's body, I'm going to just draw out some spots along the back. So pretty much they'll be anywhere except for in that belly fur that I drew. So You can kind of keep it random so that they're just different sizes, different shapes, make little clusters. And then as you're coming down towards that back leg, you can start to taper them off a little bit, maybe add some little spots near the upper part of the back leg as well. And we also need to add some spots in the tail. So I'm going to start with my spots close to the body and just work my way up the length of the tail. I'm not going to draw spots all the way towards the tip. As I get a little bit closer there, I'm just going to draw in some perpendicular lines here, horizontal-ish lines, just to create some little rings at the top of the tail. And last but not least, let's give our cheetah a nice little setting. So to begin, I'm just going to draw a really simple ground line from one side of the page over to the other. I keep my line really loose so it's not perfectly straight. Make sure you show the line still continuing underneath the body if there's space there, and then continue out the other side. You can draw some little lines upwards to indicate little blades of grass. Over on the left, I'm just going to draw out some long grass blades by just drawing a slightly curved, straight, maybe not so straight line upwards, making a point at the top, and then just widening it at the base. You can cluster these together, drawing them side by side, maybe having some come in behind, just having them pointy at the top. They don't need to be straight, they don't need to be growing straight upwards either. For the final step, I'm going to just draw in an acacia tree over on the right. So the tree is going to be in the background, so I'm going to make it a lot smaller than our cheetah, who is a lot closer to us. So start by drawing a little vertical line down to the ground. Come and draw a second one, making it wider at the base. Then you can draw in a little branch or two, however many you like, that are pointing sort of up and angled towards the corners of your page. To draw the top of the tree, make a nice form that's lumpy and bumpy, not too tall, but really long from side to side. Okay, if you like, you can add extra branches, or you can add sort of multiple layers of the tree top, the canopy there, but that's totally up to you. I'm just going to keep mine super simple and just not too detailed. And that is our cute little cheetah, guys. Thanks so much for drawing with me today. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. So until next time, for another Draw with Sandee here at the Little Artistic Nook, keep making art and keep smiling.